Good evening and welcome back to Dumfries Ice Bowl. Tonight's webcast sees the final of the Scottish pairs here at Dumfries. At the side, the representative that goes on to Stranraer in March time. In the final we have Zach Stewart against Ross White. Joining me tonight to do some commentary, Scott Hamilton again. Evening, Scott. How's things?
Fine, thanks, David. So we see Zach playing the Blue Stones tonight and Ross playing yellow. It should be a good game.
Yeah, it should be. Both have kind of cruised through the rounds and some big scores, some tight games. Certainly, Zach. I can vouch that Zach played very well in one game, put myself and Graham Sloan out, so I'll try not to let that affect the commentary. Wish him all the best, obviously.
I'm sure you're more than a professional in that, David, to let it affect your judgment tonight.
Yeah, I've been beat often enough. I don't take it personally anymore, so it's all good.
Ross has been playing well lately. I think he was called in to play in the David Edwards rink at Lockerbie 2 weekends ago, and threw Leeds Stones, but held the brush for David as their third. I think was John Penny was away in Jamaica. So
yeah, and I think David Edwards was looking for somebody out with his team there to hold the brush by all accounts. So I think Ross had quite a good weekend as well. So good experience for him.
He's certainly not short of confidence. I think he fitted in that team quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's pretty confident in what he does, so which is good to see for somebody that age as well.
Well, one thing's for sure: whoever does win this game, Dumfries is going to have a strong team representing them at the pairs finals at Stranraer in March.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, both teams particularly good. Get to the final, I suppose you can't. You can maybe fluke your way through one round, but certainly 4 rounds you're not going to fluke your way through. So they've done well to get there, and it's a pretty good standard of competition all round. To be fair, at Dumfries, it's quite a challenging competition. Played quite early in the season as well, so it does tend to be certainly the first round you either hit the ground running or you're out when you've had it, which is always interesting.
You must have had a good number of pairs entries in for it then, David. I know certainly at Lockerbie they haven't got anything like the number of entries. I think it's almost a straight semi-final at Lockerbie. Yeah,
I think it's from memory it was somewhere between 12 and 16 teams in the end. So it's it is quite competitive, and certainly the juniors add a fair bit to that. They're really good at adding some numbers to the whole thing. So. They really do. They really have helped in the last few seasons, and of course the juniors are now getting better and better. So it just adds to the competition that way as well.
Yeah, and of course it's another chance for them to be a Scottish champion.
Exactly. It's
obviously
quite good.
the winner of the finals at Stranraer in March are recognised as a Scottish pairs champions. So it's something nice to have in your CV.
Absolutely. I'm not quite sure you get a blue blazer for that one.
No, but I think you'll get a badge to sew onto your blue blazer if you've got a blue blazer.
That'll be the one. No, it'd be exactly. I mean, it's good. It is good for these. It's a good chance to get a Scottish Championship under your belt, and good experience for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been fortunate enough to play in the finals at Stranraer 3 times, and it's certainly a high standard competition.
Oh, absolutely. It is, and it's
a good social event at the end of the year as well.
Yeah, we should remember not to take the social element of curling out of things. So it's certainly a good social event by all accounts.
I think Graham Sloan was supposed to be joining us at some point in the commentary box tonight, David, but I see he's doing a wee bit of coaching here down on sheet E, 2 sheets away from the final. So
that's always very good of him. He did say at 6:10 I'll see you upstairs, but he's never actually arrived, so that would explain where he's got to.
He maybe feels out his depth sitting up here with you and I.
Experienced pros now after the weekend. Yeah, that's. If anybody didn't see the weekend, we had the Scottish ladies finals. I was going to say qualifiers, but it was the finals, of course, at the weekend. And yeah, it was good competition. We had the live webcast, and you can see the games on our YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com/Dumfries Curling. Give that a subscribe; you'll help us quite a lot. It's a wee bit of a last-minute decision to put these games on tonight, so apologies, some of the graphics may or may not work. I was planning to use the weekend's graphics, and I've just realised I've got Scottish ladies finals written all over them, so a wee bit of work to do, but we'll get there. We'll get there with them. So it's a 6-end game, being pairs. 6 ends or time. So it should just be 6 ends, but some of these pairs games have dragged on a little bit over the course of the competition. And just a reminder, Zach Stewart playing the blue stones, Ross White with the yellow ones.
Nice shot that Zach played in there, David. I think it's given Ross something to think about.
Yeah, Zach's been playing really well all season, I have to say. He's playing with Cameron Bryce in the juniors, along with Fraser Kingan, and they really have a good confidence team. Certainly, our skip the other weekend, Graham Black, was commenting they're one of the best young junior teams going about just now. So, high praise indeed from Graham.
That's not like him. For those of you that were worried about Graham, you'll be pleased to hear that I did speak to him this week, so he is in the land 11.
It was touch and go for a wee while by all accounts. So.
Ross seems to have tried to throw the high hard one here, and it's a good result for him actually. Not a bad shot at all.
Maybe give Zach a chance to come right round that.
I'm not just sure who's got last stone here, David.
I was just going to ask you the same thing, Scott. So yeah, you beat me to that one. Unfortunately, from where we're sitting, we can't. If they just start at the far end, we could work it out. We could see the stones, but because they're starting at the near end too, as we can't actually see down to where the stones are, so it makes it a little bit tricky.
Well, I think from the stones that are at the far end already, if my maths are correct, then it is Ross that has last stone.
Ross has last stone. So Zach, I think he looks like he's elected to draw to the other wing, which makes a bit more sense given he's not got last stone.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to keep the pressure on Ross and Naomi. I think he's going to have to sweep this one. His playing partner's coming out to give him a hand, but
might just about get there, I think. As long as he gets in the house.
Yeah, no, it's good enough to lie third shot anyway. I don't think it lies second.
I suspect Ross's eyes may have just lit up. Maybe looking at that double, or he's looking at the raise, one of the two.
Yeah, I think if he hits half or 3/4 stone of his own one, he'll probably be able to take both blues out and lie to himself.
Yeah,
or he may well just elect to play the double on his on the two blues. Do we know who represented Dumfries last year at Stranraer, David?
I think it might have been Ross and Rory White. Or Rory White and Grant Hardy, actually.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that
I knew it was one of them.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. I know David Hardy's had some success before representing Dumfries.
Yeah, absolutely. He's, I couldn't tell you what year he won it, but he certainly has. I think as far as the pairs goes, there has actually been some quite good results for Dumfries over the years. So.
Well, they're certainly taking their time. They're maybe discussing what they're having for their tea tonight afterwards, David.
Yeah, that could be. It's good to see some quick play, isn't it? Yeah, a bit of discussion here.
Well, it looks like they've decided to try and take the double on the two blues.
Yep. Coming off Ross's out turn.
I think he's just catching the wrong side of it, David. Yeah.
Just overswung there.
So I think this will be last. This will be Zach's last stone at the end. In fact, I think it is the last stone at the end. Full stop. My maths must have been wrong. I think
Your maths are wrong, are they?
I think I can count eight yellows at the back now. So.
But given you've got it wrong once, we won't quote you the second time.
So assuming I am right this time, Zach Stewart has got a draw to the full 12 for two.
Yeah, it should be a good start for Zach. That'll be Chris Howitt, I think, is playing with Zach here. Naomi White should have said playing with Ross, so I'm sure they'll be fine as long as they don't fall out at any point. The parents are upstairs watching, so they'll sort out any sibling fallouts that occur.
We could maybe ask one of the parents to come and join us for an end or two, David. And
we could try. We've tried before though, and we got absolutely nowhere. So we could try. But this looks quite a nice draw down. Just
yeah, it looks
it
like Zach's got his draw weight in the first end, and yeah, end of the end, two blues.
Yeah, it's a really good start that for Zach. That'll be. You'd think Zach's a very good player, but I think Ross has maybe got that a little bit more experience at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Ross and Naomi would be the favourites, certainly coming into the game.
Yeah, so I think it's probably important for Zach to get that lead, and just to keep things going. It'll be interesting to see how he plays this one now. Whether he opts to take this into the house or whether he tries to block up front and make things messy.
I think by the look of it, he's wanting to throw another guard.
I think we've got to remember that Graham Sloan's the coach here, so it's never going to be defensive curling.
No, that's very true. He did coach me for a couple of years, though, and I do tend to play defensively.
It's good to have everything in moderation, isn't it? Wait till we play our Wednesday night league game tonight. You'll see the definition of attacking curling. You need to keep him straight playing three. Although to that said, if you can't count stones, you maybe shouldn't be playing three.
Moving on swiftly, David.
It's a nice line on it, this one.
Yeah, I think it's just pulled up a foot short, but still in a good position for later on in the end.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll be quite interesting. Most of these players have been having a go at mixed doubles recently, because we've got the World Championships here. We obviously thought we'd introduce mixed doubles to the region before the Worlds got here, and nobody knew what it actually was. I just wonder if it'll slightly affect tactics. a little bit. I know Graham's been working hard with the local rinks just to kind of explore the tactics in mixed doubles, but
Yeah, possibly. I mean, the mixed doubles is something I've had a wee bit of experience at, but very little. Um, yeah, and up until now, I'm still pretty uncertain as to what's the best way to go with the tactics and that. But
it seems to be a race to the middle of the house a lot of the time.
yeah, I think so. I mean, it may well affect the way they play this game here. I'm surprised, I have to say, to see Zach throwing the centre guard up with his first stone of this end. I think once you're up in pairs, it is very difficult to get back in, to let the other team back into the game.
That's it. Just see the replay there of Chris Hout coming right round that guard, gets really close to it and ends up absolutely top of the button there.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot, and it's Naomi and Ross are going to probably find it difficult to remove that stone. However, this is a nice shot by Naomi. I think Ross is possibly giving his big sister a telling off there for telling them to sweep it when it maybe wasn't needing it.
That's a sign for signs of cracks. I think Zach quite likes this one, maybe sitting a wee bit high at the moment.
Yeah, was it called just to draw another in there, David?
Was
it? Yeah,
just top 4, top 8 even.
It's a pretty good position for them. I mean, I think all Ross has got at the moment is to really try and follow them in and draw right onto the face of the shot. If they can get the inside of the blue that has just been played at back ring weight to try and maybe remove the back yellow away from it, that would be a good shot as well. But
yeah, just take the backing out of the way so that
yeah. I mean, Ross certainly isn't afraid to take on the big shot, and I know he can certainly play the weight for the heavy takeout. So I think if Naomi can set up the ends well, then Ross has certainly got it in his armoury to play the big shot.
He has, and that's probably where they've got the advantage. They have the firepower to build up an end and bail out of it if they need to. Whereas Zach's probably going to have to be a little bit more careful. Although he has the power as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
It just might be slightly later into the end that he can use it.
Yeah.
It's be quite a nice swing on the ice tonight as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's swinging a wee bit more possibly than it was at the weekend for the ladies' championship. Ross will need to watch this now.
Yeah, though he's got last stone, it's he's almost committed to this end already.
Yeah, I think he has swithered about taking the guards off there, but I'm not just sure what he's looking at. Possibly just trying to get the inside of this top blue one.
Yeah, I think so. Would you be looking at the guard, Scott?
I think this early on in the game, I wouldn't be surprised to see the guards go. I mean, this is swinging now, actually. It looks like it's on the top guard anyway.
I think it is. It's almost...
That maybe was what they called, and I think they must have played even to play the tap back. But I think the main aim there must have been to try and move the shooter out off the centre line, and they've left that sitting there. So it is very much advantage Stewart in this end.
Yeah, sitting 2 at the moment, and there's not really a nice win. Although Ross will fancy driving that yellow straight back. That won't phase him at all at the moment.
No, and the two blues are a pretty big target in there, but with blue also lying fourth shot, they need to be pretty careful.
Yeah, because if Zach guards this yellow, Ross really doesn't have any option than to open it up.
No, I think the beauty is that Ross has got 4 shots left to come, so we're only halfway through the end.
Yes. I always find pairs a slightly strange game that you almost rush through the stones. You don't really. I know I'm quite bad for not really thinking how many stones you've got left, and all of a sudden you've only got 2 left, and you need a helicopter to get in there.
Yeah, yeah. I have to say, when I'm playing pairs and I'm skipping, I do like to keep it fairly open and keep the game close. You've always got a chance towards the later ends in the game. Then
Yeah, there's no point. There's no point taking yourself out the game before you're in it.
no, no, and I think Ross and Naomi are running the risk of that at the moment.
Yeah, well, that hasn't really done the job of blocking up the centre line. But again, it's another stone in there, and
They may well be lying 3 now.
I think they are. I think they are a good spot. I don't think it'll change the choice of shot from Ross here.
No, I think he's got to drive this yellow in and try and get rid of at least one, if not 2 blues.
Yeah,
He may well lose one of his yellows as well here.
I suppose the nightmare here would be slightly on the left as we look at it and just picking off the top blue. That would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I don't think this one will be hanging about. Just about to see Ross coming out the hack at the top end there.
It's looking a bit high, I think, David. Yeah. In fact, he nearly missed it altogether.
But at least it clears the front. Gives Zach a wee challenge now. Where do you put the next one? Tapping for up short. I think that's exactly where I'd be putting it.
Yeah, do we think he's lying 2 or 3 in there, David? Can you see out the window? Or?
Oh, good
It's
question.
hard to see from the computer screen here.
Yeah, I'd guess 3, but it would be a bit of a guess. The parents are looking happy out there, so yeah, I think I'd go for 3 personally. Put new contact lenses in this morning as well. You'll be pleased to know, so I might have some chance of being accurate with that.
I think I could have maybe done with some when I was trying to count the stones at last end.
Zach's working this one. I would suggest if it's over, leaving it.
I think so. I think it's maybe it's certainly swinging anyway.
Sitting down, it's on the centre line. That's probably good enough.
There's probably a draw in there to lie shot if they can get tight past the top blue.
Yep.
They may well come inside the ones in the top of the 8 foot, but again, it's a pretty risky call.
You'll be taking the guards off again here.
I think so. I think I think you've got, but I think you've almost got to try and take both guards off.
Yeah.
I don't think one's really good enough.
No, it's quite an easy guard to replace. Really, there's quite a margin for error on that one. So yeah, so Ross in a wee bit of trouble early on. 2 down at the moment. Ross might turn to blame his new coach. I hear Scott Robertson's doing a bit of coaching with his junior team.
Now there's a turn up for the books. And is Ross's junior team will be the same as last year, is it?
Yeah, as far as I know, the Stranraer boys.
Yeah,
playing with them.
Very good team actually.
They are.
I would When's the junior qualifiers? Is that next? I think that's this month, isn't it?
I think it is this month. As opposed to January.
Yeah. I think it is. So, he would be expecting to make the finals this year.
Yeah, I would certainly think so. I mean, given their, I think everybody rightly comments how good they are and their ability, but I think what people generally forget is they are still very young. I think we had the conversation at Lockerbie last year. They still just got the 6 or 7 years left in juniors.
No, that's right. He is. I think he's 15 years old. I think at the moment, so he's got another 6 years left in juniors.
Yeah. Which is given the level he's playing at already, it's quite promising, certainly for Dumfries.
It is. He's certainly got a tremendous future in the sport in front of him.
Pretty good golfer as well.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, very good golfer. I think he plays with the Thornhill League team in the juniors.
You ever come across him on the golf course?
I've never played him in the golf course. I seen him playing in the summer this year, actually, at Lockerbie. I was there playing for the men's league team for Moffat, and Ross was playing for Thornhill against Lockerbie in the juniors. So
there must be something in that, because Eve Muirhead's a pretty good golfer here as well. So
yeah, I think Eve's a scratch golfer. To be fair, she's I think she was good enough that if she wasn't in the Scottish Institute of Sport with the curling, then there was every chance she would have been in there with the golf. And I think her father, Gordon, was a very good golfer as well.
Right.
So I'm led to believe. So yeah,
I'd make a comment about Andrew White and his golf, but it would all be hearsay. So
right. So I think Ross has decided that he's going to try and run this guard just high side of the nose as we look at it, and try and run this second guard back and maybe pick one of them out of the house as well. Tremendous shot if it comes off.
I just wonder if that second blue would come off the back of the button underneath the yellow as well. It could like quite nicely if it gets this right.
Yeah, he could. He's looking maybe. He's not far away here, David.
No,
Well,
that could give him a few problems.
That probably couldn't have worked out any worse for him.
Right down into the forefoot.
Yeah, I think you've almost got to try and throw another one in here now, and I'm sure Zach will be licking his lips.
Yeah, absolutely. This is sitting really nicely for him.
So we've got Graham Sloan just joined us, and it's a good job he wasn't much later, because this game could be bye after this end.
It certainly looks like Zach and Chris have come out the blocks flying and looking to get a wee early lead in there. It's a little bit of a battle of the titans here, I suppose. Neither of the two skips will be wanting to lose against the other, that's for sure. They come up against each other quite a lot during the season, so it's all about keeping one up against them.
Would you be throwing another one in here, Graham, or would you just be trying to guard?
I think if you put one top eight, there's not much left.
No, I think I would be
like
tempted.
He's coming in anyway.
Yeah, I think he's certainly got heavy enough, but
And he may have left a shot though. His head's hanging.
yeah, I think had he got that shot right, Ross was in all sorts of trouble. But
yeah, it's interesting. You could see they've just come off the ice, and you can tell there's tension in the air. You can see the body language down there when you're out there and just listening to what they're talking about. You know, they're just maybe over analysing it a little bit rather than just going and playing.
yeah, well, we were saying earlier on before you came up that it's a great opportunity for one of them to go and represent Dumfries at Stranraer at the pairs finals.
Absolutely, yeah. In
And
fact, I think both teams will probably get there just with the number of entries that we've had in the event. I think we'll probably get 2 entries into it.
Yeah, no, that's certainly positive. I was saying that earlier on as well before you came up. The fact that I think at Lockerbie, it's almost a straight semi-final there this year.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we had 16 teams in the event, and there was some good adult teams in there as well. You know, you had David Hardy and Robin Halliday. Unfortunately, Robin took ill and couldn't play his semi-final tie, but they've been in the mix all the way through.
You'd be including yourself in that as well?
Well, yeah, but I mean, these juniors are just unbelievably accurate and consistent now. They're on the ice 3-4 days a week, and it's difficult to play against them, which we found out. I mean, we played reasonably well, but Zach, who's playing well again tonight, was just phenomenal that night.
Yeah. I'm pleased to see Ross playing this at a quieter weight. I thought he would have come down here very heavy, but that's a cracking shot that he's played in there.
Has he got some left, is he? So he may even turn this round for his 2 then, eh?
I think he'll struggle to get 2.
You've no idea how these young ones think, Scotty boy. They see things that we don't.
I've no idea how you think. If you think you can get 2 out of that, Graham.
Well, if Zach misses his shot here, there's definitely an opportunity to score 2. All depends where Zach puts his shot. You know, he might leave it slightly wide and leave a little run in off. All you need to do is bump those blues round about a little bit, and you end up lying your 2. Doesn't look like the yellow's going to go out on the handle that they're playing anyway. So
No, I'm not just sure what they're playing here.
hopefully to force the 1.
I think he's playing this at weight. I thought he might have just threw a
Yes.
guard here and
Must think he
take
can
your
get it
1.
out.
And, well, I don't think it's.
Oof.
I think he's on his top blues.
So draw for 2. Just thought I'd put that out. What's that,
Well,
Scott? You eating your hat?
We'll see, Graham. Still bit.
I didn't say he would make it. I said he would have a shot for 2.
Well, I don't think if I'd been playing against him, I would have given him the opportunity to get 2.
A wise head, Scotty. Just shows you how a game of curling can turn round, eh?
I think we're going to see Naomi come up and sweep this stone rather than hold the brush as an aiming point. You'll be happy with the progress of these young players here at Dumfries, Graham. They certainly seem to be coming on at a great rate of knots, and as you were saying, they're pretty accurate and playing at a really high standard for such a young age.
Well, we've certainly got a really good bunch of juniors down here, and you know, on their day they're as good as anybody else. But you can never take anything for granted. What we're always trying to do is just think of ways to stay ahead of all our other competitions. So, although we've got a good bunch, we're really trying to focus on getting them going further and becoming the champions that other ice rinks have got. So we've got a chance. There's a lot of juniors playing at the Scottish qualifiers up in Perth this weekend. I think we're represented across 5 different teams.
And that's this weekend coming.
That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday up in Perth.
I think this is maybe just the 1, Graham.
I never said he would make it for 2. It could be a measure. Had a chance for his 2 just to tie the game up there, but that one looked like it drew early.
Yeah, I think again that's where the difference. 2 good sweepers would make such a difference in a shot like that.
Yeah, Pears you're looking to just be a little bit more accurate. Ross is saying stop messing about. We're no measuring it. He's either bullied them into 2 or he's conceded for 1.
I think it'll be 1.
Good eyesight, Scott.
So we've seen Naomi here play a nice centre guard with her first stone. Obviously, it was just the 1, so they're 1 down without last. So hopefully, we'll start to see a lot of stones in play this end. So while we're watching the early stages of the third end here of the pairs final, I've just been told that we're playing Robbie Dick and his team tonight in the Wednesday night league.
We are indeed, Scott.
I'm sure that'll make for a feisty game.
We've just been discussing putting player microphones on for a test tonight, but we've decided that might just be too much.
I've got a good story I could tell you about Robbie Dick, but we'll maybe save that one for another time.
Microphone on or off time?
No, I think it's a story we could share.
Yeah, excellent.
It would be nice to be able to share the story when Granite City Dave is tuned in and watching.
Excellent.
No, it's a story that involves Robbie and David Edwards and Fraser Hare.
I think I know the one you're talking about, actually. Yes. You might have to change the details of the story a little bit, but
Slightly,
you can give the gist.
Yeah. One for another day, I think.
Men's playdowns.
That's right.
That would be a good one. Yeah.
Oh, we could use it at the men's playdowns. Is that what you were?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, we could. I think David Edwards and Fraser Hare are both down playing at Dumfries at the men's playdown, so we could possibly get them in to tell the story.
Tell the whole story. Yeah, I think that would. I think that might work quite well. We might record that one just in case, but. It's a far less girdly end here. A few less stones in play.
Yeah, we've seen Ross disappear off the screen here. I think he's gone down to sweep Naomi's draw weight if needed. I think at the moment it looks slightly heavy though, and you tend to find that with pairs. The player knows that they don't have the sweepers there and do tend to just give it an extra foot or two of running.
Which in turn again we end up with plenty of stones lying about and hopefully a little bit more interesting to watch because of that.
Yeah, I think Ross and Naomi would certainly be looking to set this end up well. They're, as I said earlier, they're one down without last stone, so they're really needing to steal and try and limit Zach to scoring no more than one.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, without doing particularly much wrong, half the game's gone and you're 3 shots down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a good, a nice stone coming in here again, just slightly heavy. That maybe gives Ross an opportunity to come and freeze to it and take the other blue stone that's in the house out of play.
Yeah, this is where the juniors definitely think a little bit differently. I think 10 years ago as a junior, people would have been eyeing up that one at the top of the house and see if they could lift the double with it.
Yeah, I think I must admit I was just having a wee look at that myself, David. So. Yeah. I mean, especially when you really don't want Zach Stewart to be taking any more than a 1 this end. And at the moment, you have to say he's got his 2 set up pretty nicely.
He has.
Again, a nice shot here from Rosso, and the end can turn fairly quickly.
It can, as long as he keeps one eye on it. I mean, there's good players in this ice rink that have lost substantial scores just by trying to draw on to stone and just missing, just rolling off, and all of a sudden you end up with 4 or 5, or in one person's case 8 lying about.
Yeah, I heard there's been 1 or 2 8-enders. I think you've been on the right side of one, David?
I was on the taking side of one. That's always quite nice, and I believe that was the first one at Dumfries, but we've actually had 2 since then.
Right, and
it was a ladies' rink got 1, and Katie Wright from Stranraer got 1. It was actually in the Lions 2 years running. They had an 8-ender in the Lions competition.
Right. And I believe your one was against
couldn't possibly say
Graham Sloan.
Name. Yeah, which is quite nice. I have to say, it's
at this point Graham has left the commentary box.
Yep, he's away. Stormed out. You'll find out what we say about him when he listens it back later on.
So a nice shot there by Ross. Possibly hasn't swung quite enough. I think he would have been much happier if it had swung another half stone's width. It's given Zach an opportunity to play a back ring hack weight to get to the inside of this yellow and flop over in behind the guard.
Get to the inside and clear the blue at the back.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. It's a wee bit high, but it's starting to move now. Here it comes. Is it going to get the swing? Look good.
This is a lovely shot he's played.
Great shot. Hasn't moved the yellow back that far, but I think he'll be happy with that. Gets it
Yeah,
front tee line as well.
I would think so. I think Ross will be looking at various different options here. Possibly just look to try and freeze on top of the blue at the moment to try and force them to no more than one.
Yeah, you just want to get another yellow in there, really, don't you? That's the
I think so, David.
Plan A. So have you managed to see the video on YouTube yet of Anchorman doing commentary on the Canadian Roar of the
No,
Rings?
I've seen plenty of coverage on it, but I haven't. No, I haven't actually watched it yet myself. But I see it's been advertised, and it'll be one of the ones that's yeah.
Certainly worth a look if you've got a spare anybody out there got a spare couple of minutes. It's like Ron Burgundy Roar of the Rings into YouTube, and it's it's good publicity for curling. I think there was a few Canadians maybe a little bit upset that they were using their biggest event for 4 years, but at the end of the day, it's good publicity for the sport. Here comes Ross again. It's just
slightly heavy, and it's again it's given Zach a big opportunity now.
Could lift both team yellows now.
Well, I just wondered that, David, whether. Oh. Yeah, sorry, a slight technical glitch on my fault, on my part. No, I think that I did wonder whether Zach was going to be brave enough to try and catch the inside of this yellow at hack to barrier weight, try and take both yellows out and flop in behind the guard and lie 4.
It's almost the same again shot, isn't it? It's pretty similar to the one he's just played. So
yeah, I think he's taken quite a bit of ice. I don't think he's trying the shot that we expected him to. I think he's coming down at slightly quieter weight than I probably would have played it at.
Yeah, I think I probably agree with that, because I think your main aim has to be to get rid of that first yellow.
It's almost just a heavy draw he's played here, I think.
Swinging nicely though, to be fair. It's not a bad shot. Now, Ross, how much of that can Ross see? I think he's sitting 2 against at the moment, 2 blues. Again, apologies if the colours at the bottom of the screen aren't completely clear, but Ross White with the yellow stone, Zach Stewart currently line 2, playing blues with last stone as well.
I'm not just sure how much of that Ross can see, David. I think if he could see half stone of that, it would be worth trying to play a heavy strike weight, catch it as on the half stone on the right hand side as we look at it. Just what he's indicating there, but I think I would be tempted to play it at full strike weight.
It looks like he's talking about playing down weight to this one, so a wee bit dangerous that you're leaving blues lying around without last stone.
Yeah, and we think blues lying 2 at the moment, don't we?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think the only other shot that I can see is possibly try and come off his own yellow, but again, you would have to play it at heavy weight. It is slightly behind the blue anyway, so.
Again, if that doesn't swing, you're taking yellows out left, right, and centre,
and yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, Zach certainly got him thinking here.
Yeah, I think I would be tempted to try and play the high hard one here, catch as much as much as that one as you could see. Difficult from the angle that we're looking at it, as to how much he can actually see of that. I don't think he can see enough, or he would be.
What about that call that he's just made?
Yeah, the dead draw. Yeah.
Tricky to move if he gets it right.
Yeah, a good chance maybe to try and force the one, certainly, but.
Tell you what, he's very lucky we don't have time clocks on this. This is because we don't have the full scoreboards up. This is end 3.
Yeah, and they'll soon have been playing an hour.
Exactly.
They started at 6:30. It's now 20 past 7.
I have to say we can't really complain. We once played a game against Robbie Dick and the Bears, which took I think 2 hours and 5 minutes, something like that. 2 hours 10 minutes.
Is that for 6 ends, David?
Yep.
And do we play 8 ends against them tonight?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Is there a bell tonight?
I hope there is.
So do I. So I think he's elected to play the draw here. Interestingly, I think this is the first time that he's elected to draw, and Naomi's stayed up the top end, actually giving him an aiming point.
Yeah.
He obviously sees it as a big enough shot. In fact, she's staying still, and Ross is really sweeping this hard. And from what we can see, I don't think he's. I think it's maybe just going to squeak over the hog line, if that.
Has it done a job covering them yellows though? Zach will be lying too, but where does his next one come from or go to? Tap up maybe. I'll spin it round. If Zach doesn't play a shot, what is Ross's shot at the moment?
I mean, I think I don't think they can they can't obviously get to the back yellows. They're lying 2 good ones in there anyway. I mean, 2 is really a big enough score for Zach Stewart on this end.
Yeah, so just exactly where he's called the kind of a guard somewhere between them 2 short stones already.
Yeah, I think so. And he's always going to have a tap back on his blue at the top of the 8 foot for 3 if he wants to. And I don't think he can do an awful lot of damage with that. It's good to see some of the junior teams out practicing for next weekend as well, David.
Yeah, I think it's even better to see coaches with them. Zach's changing his mind here, is he? He's tapping his hack down here. He's tapping his foot like he's considering playing a hack weight. Is he thinking about coming down through the gap at hack weight?
And try and take the 2 yellows out? I just wondered that, David. I think where the brush is certainly situated, that may be what they're calling.
That's an aggressive call.
Yeah.
It's certainly hack weight plus, I would say.
Yeah, this is a pretty brave call. If they catch the high yellow stone at all. Oh, it's swinging now.
No, I think
it's on the yellow. Now that really gives. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's just gone to. Oh, I was about to say it's open, but the angles aren't particularly good for moving both blues, are they?
No, I think they really need to hit the blue very high and hit it across the face of the second one. I don't really understand that shot, David. It's certainly given Ross an opportunity to remove one of the blues and put a bit of pressure on. You know, we were always told to play the simple shots and make your opponents play the hard shots.
I just wonder if we touch of inexperience and same as the previous end, kind of chasing a bigger end than is maybe necessary. As you say, 2 shots here, 4-1 up. It's probably as good as you can ask for, really. Puts you in total control of the game, and I think he's maybe just gone and chased a 3 or a 4 there, and it may come back to bite.
Yeah, but I mean, again, trying to chase a bigger end. I mean, really, what could he have done much damage if he'd even taken the other guard off? It would have certainly opened the 2 back yellow ones up.
Yeah,
I know Ross would have had the same shot as he tried with his first one, but
the same shot, but having the pressure that if he misses it, he could lose a big end there. So
I don't know what Ross is looking at here. I think he's looking at trying to. He did Swither about trying to angle this catch the inside of this outside one. I think this computer. It must be quite deceiving. I think from where we are looking at it, because it looks like they can come and hit quarter stone, just about where he's pointing at the moment.
Now, yeah, exactly.
Across the face of the other one. maybe pick the back one as well and leave themselves lying too.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the pressure switches, and I think just going back to Zach's shot there, I think the other comment I would make is he changed his mind from the hack at the other end. It might have been worth just going up to have a quick look at the angles and seeing which guard he was better to be in tight to and that kind of thing. We said it all weekend, but it's dead easy up here, isn't it? That's the thing.
No, that's right.
It's dead
That's
easy.
right. Sorry, folks, we got interrupted there. I think are Blue still lying two up there, and David? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And Ross came that one on a different handle to the one I would. He didn't come off the centre line. He came from the guard back to the centre line. We obviously thought he could see enough, and this one's just overswung horribly on Zach.
Yeah. So
So I think it was a draw for a 3 from this angle.
yeah, and that really would have been game. I think if Zach managed to get 3 there, I think it would be a long way back for Ross and Naomi.
Yeah, it would be. Certainly, Zach managed to get a couple of shots up on myself and Graham in the early rounds, and we just couldn't build anything.
Yeah.
He just absolutely flattened us from there. So
I have to say the scoreline does surprise me slightly. I did think that certainly with Ross's firepower, I thought him and Naomi would have tried to keep it clean. And I think this is probably the right call. I know Zach did nominate the centre guard first of all, but he's had a change of mind, and I think really now when he's 3 up, there's only 3 ends to play, assuming they can get the 3 ends in the remaining time.
Yep.
I think throw it in the house and make Naomi and Ross try and chase the game now.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Make them chase the game. Christopher's got his weight here, maybe a wee touch deep, but Zach trying to work it right the way back.
Yeah, and I think we'll no hesitation. I think we'll see Naomi trying to play a corner guard.
Yeah, I suspect Zach will have 2 free stones here. He might even chuck 2 corner guards up.
Yeah, and I think this is where certainly in pairs it becomes very difficult to play this sort of game, especially when your lead puts you the corner guard in the house. But I think without the sweepers, it is very difficult to try and chase a game. Coming around corner guards, playing the touch shots that they're going to have to play now to get themselves back into the game. That's the type of shots the sweepers can play a big part on.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't think they're going to miss too many open hits. Though that said, commentator's curse.
Absolutely.
Scrapes outside.
And had it made contact there, David, I think there was every chance it was going to jam on the back,
Yeah,
the back blue anyway. Again, a little surprised that he's asking to split the house this early on. I thought he might try and throw a corner guard on the same side as he tried the last time and guard their one in the house.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's going slightly on textbook, like almost banking on the next stone missing as well. Get the house nicely split apart. To be fair, keeps it simple if you're just looking for the two. Just keep throwing them side to side. You take your two from here.
Yeah.
So this looks a wee touch heavy. No, it's okay. As long as it stays.
I'm sure Naomi's praying it stops.
Yeah, she looked a little concerned up at the far end there. And just quietly moves to the sideline. She wasn't up after that one to sweep it anyway. See on the side of the ring, there's it's like a beginner session about to join the ice.
Oh, and again, you were right, David. Another miss.
I think that's what they're looking for. Just wonder if Ross has exposed a wee weakness here. Good to see Zach go up and just have a wee quiet word and good skip. Good skipping.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the call is this time. Then are they going to try and freeze the back blue or?
I think it's always a tricky one. Where do you put the third stone? Admittedly, they're not even shot at the moment, but
yeah, I think I would be tempted to try and freeze the back one. Certainly, this looks heavy enough.
A wee bit high and heavy. Zach will have a chance to get this right past it.
And I have to say that's a pretty poor shot, although it has managed to stick in the ring. So yeah,
at the end, and this is how big ends build up. Zach's now one mistake away from line 4 against.
Zach's still intent and playing him on this out turn hand.
This looks a bit better. His coaching's obviously worked.
Yeah, I think he's possibly. Yeah, no, it's a good shot.
They'll like to roll the inside to lie second shot there, I suspect.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what Ross calls now. I think I would be tempted to try and come maybe round behind that blue stone top of the house, sit back 12 foot, back 8 foot, sorry, on the left hand side as we look at it.
Yeah, I'd agree with
to
that.
lie second and third shot, half behind that blue counter.
I think you have to start assuming now that you're going to need the guard or something to go behind rather than just leaving them out in the open, because Zach will make a double at some stage in the end, I suspect.
Yeah, I think the only trouble they've got now is if they want to try and. I think that's what he certainly indicated that he wouldn't mind drawing behind, but I think now they're maybe looking at trying to bump the blue slightly. I think they need to try and bring that back yellow into play somehow.
Yeah, I think Ross is duped as we're standing with the wrong hand out there, or he duped me anyway. He's definitely coming off the centre line to the left as we look at it.
Yeah, and I think this is the call that I mentioned earlier on to try and come round this one top 12 foot.
Played it well.
To sit back 8 and lie 2, yeah. Good shot.
So there's potential bailout for Zach there later on in the end that they can come down and freeze that. So I don't mind the caller going for the winger now.
No, I think he's and really what he's trying to do is catch this half to 3/4 stone and certainly roll towards the centre line. Then if they get the angles right, roll right over and try and bump that yellow out the side.
Yeah, it's quite a big shot this one, because if he manages this, Ross might struggle to build the end from here because he'll be lying 3 blues ahead of his back yellows. So
yeah, no, it is a big shot. You're right. It'll be interesting again if he just manages to get to the nose of it. It'll be interesting to see what Ross tries to do.
Yeah,
because he'll then be lying 1.
it's a little bit on the narrow side. No rush to go and sweep it from the vice though, so it's a wee bit betwixt in between there. Yeah, does a main job of getting rid of it though.
Yeah, I think this is a good call by Ross to try and freeze the back one. It means that Zach will then probably have to try and go after the one without the back in on the left hand side of the sheet.
Yeah, I think Graham said he was up. You could, he was sort of sensing the nerves down there, and it's beginning to look that way. There's a few. They certainly don't look as confident as they were in the first few ends. There's a wee bit more time being taken, and
I think, like all sports, they're possibly good friends off the ice, but on the ice, I think there's quite a bit of rivalry between the two.
yeah, I believe so. Probably the knowledge that they see each other about 4 times a week, so therefore they're going to get stick for the next week.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll both know each other's games pretty well as well.
As Naomi moves back, we see the result there.
Not a bad shot, and it's certainly done enough to make Zach chase the one on the left hand side as we look at it. So Ross and Naomi are starting to set this up quite well this end.
I think there's an angle for a double there.
I think they're too flat, David. I think again a pretty big shot.
He might have just looking out the window. He might be able to get between the yellow and the blue to bounce the yellow back up out the house.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think they are too flat for a straight double.
Again, I think I would maybe be tempted here just to try and go after the other one still. If you can nose that, you're going to take it out and the back in.
Yeah.
This is probably the correct call if he can hit. If he makes contact with it, but it's certainly putting. He could put himself under a bit of pressure here if he catches his own one at the top of the house.
Yeah, absolutely. All of a sudden you're bringing that back one into play, which is it's not going to come into play unless Zach does something. It doesn't look wide.
No, I think
it's pretty good.
Yeah, he managed to, and just as you say, he got the angle to get in between the two of them. Now with Ross with 3 stones left to play.
Freeze again, maybe? Or just bump the second blue back a wee touch?
Yeah, I think just to freeze, if they can try and freeze right in between the two of them. I think the key thing with this shot is you don't want to be too heavy and try and leave any sort of double here with a, bump the blue back and leave a double in the 2 yellows. The angles just don't quite work for him, do they? I mean, I think what Naomi's looking at with a hit and roll possibly there, but the top blue, that's lying short at the moment, would make contact with the blue behind and roll over and probably take the yellow out on the centre line.
The last thing they want to do is lose their shooter as well that way.
Oh, that's right. Now, good effort there by Ross, but I think it's just pulled up slightly short and possibly given Zach a go at a double here.
Sorry, Scott, missed that. Was on TV duty in the curling lounge here.
I think he's just sitting sort of corner frozen, I think. David, can you see out the window? A good shot here by Zach, and
yeah, I suspect this one will be coming down at a rate of knots. Suspicion confirmed. Throwing his in turn. Does it get that yellow out?
I don't think I've seen one yellow, but he's certainly left another one lying. That's certainly given Ross an opportunity now.
Yeah, an opportunity to move that front blue now.
And with Zach only got one shot left to come, I would maybe be tempted to play this on the other hand, though, David, off the centre line. Take any risk away from jamming.
From a jam.
Always keep it high. You've got a long way to roll across to the other side of the house.
Yeah, I'd entirely agree. There's just too many nice angles to jam there, isn't there?
Yeah. I think I would certainly be playing it on the other hand, or if I was playing this hand, taking tight ice and making sure that you're always on the inside of it.
Yes, last place you want to be is out by the brush here. Just playing a quiet way at that stage.
Yeah, he's up and
up though.
he's up and sweeping it. I'm not sure if whether. Oh no, I think.
Okay, might just roll though. Has done.
Yeah. He erred on the right side there, though. I think,
Yeah,
David.
exactly.
I think we'll see Zach try and take one yellow out. So you would certainly expect Ross and Naomi to take two from here to make the score 4-3.
Yeah, unless that gets a really skinny double here, but I certainly don't think in pairs you can play for that.
No, I think possibly what he's called is a hit and flop towards the centre line to make Ross's shot more difficult.
See Ross concentrating there, just moving behind the line of the stone. Doesn't look too bad. It's just over, so.
Yeah. So there we see. We'll see Naomi now go up to the other end with Ross and try and make sure to get the weight right. They've got the full house to draw to, and I think you would certainly expect this to be a 2.
You would, although to be fair, the last draw Ross played just got over the hog line, so my suspicion would be this won't be underthrown.
Do you think Naomi will remind him about that before he plays it?
Into the psychology, is a reminder a good thing or a bad thing? Don't be short. Look happy with it. Certainly Naomi's not sweeping it.
Yeah, I think Naomi was thinking it was slightly heavy, but I see they're both sweeping it now.
Ross has immediately jumped
in.
I
think he possibly just dragged that back just as he was letting it go.
Has it with touch and go.
They're sweeping it hard. I don't know if this is going to make it, David.
It's not. Looking out the window, I don't think it is. Oh, he's going to be annoyed with that.
Yeah. I think he just dragged it back slightly as he let it go.
It's a wee bit of a
That's a big let off for Zach. Yeah.
I was about to say well done for not hitting the brush, and then he goes and tries to kick somebody, so taking his frustrations out. It's a wee bit unfair having cameras on folk, isn't it?
Yeah, so a big let up there for Zach Stewart. I think now with Ross and Naomi being 2 down without last stone with 2 ends to play, they'll be really looking to get a couple of centre guards up here and try and put a bit of pressure on Zach Stewart fairly early on.
Yeah, so Scott says this is end 5. Naomi playing a really nice guard there, bang on the centre line.
Yeah, almost where you would want it to be, David.
Ross is still beating himself up over it. Let it go. It's all done. You can't do anything about it now. Easy to say up here, of course.
No, that's right. I think it's really just confirming what Graham was saying earlier on, that there's a lot of tension out there. Now, Zach's holding his head there, but I don't think that's such a bad shot. They can now hit that yellow it's taken it out of the free guard zone. Or if they wanted, they could take their own blue out off the free guard zone area as well with their second shot. So I think no hesitation here. We'll definitely see Naomi try and throw another guard.
So maybe a wee touch heavy. It's maybe a wee touch slower up this side. There hasn't been as many stones up there.
Yeah, good spot, David. It certainly looked heavy. I think they maybe want to be sweeping that now just to try and tuck it in. They might as well take it fully into the 4 foot if they can.
I actually don't mind the 4 foot call because you can almost guarantee Zach's going for the outside one or the guard now. So
yeah, I think he's trying to hit this outside one again, keeping his leads on the out turn. He missed two up in this hand on the last end. They're sweeping this time though, so he must be quite happy with it. Yeah, good shot.
It's a nice peel. Would you maybe gone for the guard there though? Got last stone.
I think trying to take the centre
Take your
centre
own
off.
guard off,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. I think we'll try now see Ross try and get Naomi to throw another guard.
I don't think Ross would be too disappointed to see a centre guard still up there with the opportunity to throw a second one, maybe slightly longer.
Yeah, I think the issue that they've got now is that obviously when trying to steal, they need to try and they're trying to score more than. They're going to have to try and steal more than one. Normally, when you're trying to steal, you just need one good one in there. But I think in this case, two down without last stone with two ends left to play, they're really needing to try and throw a bit of caution to the wind now.
He's in there again, maybe opens the opportunity for a run back, clear everything. Throw it tight, maybe catch the guard, whichever.
Yeah, I think that's what was indicated. If the guard or if they tick one of the ones out in the house, either or, I think they'll be quite happy to see the guard go here.
I think he's lifting both yellows, Just the one. With just the one yellow going, you maybe prefer to have seen the guard go.
I think so. Because the two yellows were sitting quite nice for a double takeout anyway. So as we see Ross indicating for Naomi to throw another guard up. At some point in time, they're going to have to try and put another one. I think right round the outside, so around the right hand side as we look at it. Then turn as the players would be playing to try and draw one right round there and into the forefoot.
It has been a nice swing there as well, so very possible.
Yeah, certainly the one in the house won't be enough to win the end, I don't think.
It's making that draw around the right hand side even nicer.
Yeah, a bit more cover again. He's just asking for a barrier weight here. Worst case scenario that they come up and miss everything.
Second for the sweep in.
Yeah, I think again he's aired on the right side. And that certainly isn't. That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it's not a bad second option, is it? He knows Ross is chasing the game a wee bit, so.
We've got Graham Sloan back in the commentary box here. He must have calmed down following his temper tantrum and storming out after we were talking about the 8-ender he lost to our colleagues David here. I don't know if you want anything to add to that, Graham.
Calm down.
I missed that one. Part of the game, eh? Part of the game. Publicity is publicity. Whether it's good or bad. So they say.
Do you have a few come and try sessions in here just now as well?
Adult coaching tonight, so our adult program's actually doing quite well this season. Regularly every week, so it's quite good. We're going to try and stage some, just organise some bounce matches for them the next week or so and early into January, and then hopefully we'll be getting a big influx through the Olympic period where more people want to come and have a wee try. So,
and if anybody happens to have stumbled across this on YouTube very randomly, how do they go about having a go?
They just need to check out the website. It's called trycurling.com, and they can stick in their postcode and it'll tell them exactly where their nearest ice rink is and when the next session is on.
Is there a cost to that in Dumfries?
Pound a go. So for a taster session to come down and try it out, see if you like it, just costs you £1, and you get a bit of coaching from the qualified coaches down at the rink.
Is that's a national price as well?
I would be lying if I said yes there, but I do believe that there is a small fee across the board. Each ice rink's set up differently, so there could well be a different price in other ice rinks, but certainly at Dumfries, £1 a go. Anybody's welcome to come down.
It's a great year to get into as well. We've got 3 World Championships at Dumfries, so we've got two senior worlds, and we've also got the mixed doubles. Tickets are on sale now. It's www.dumfriescurling.co.uk. Spell the website for you there. Tickets are on sale from that website. Just now they're just the season passes, but once we get the draw in January, you'll be able to get single games or day passes or afternoon passes or whenever you want to turn up. But it should be a good competition.
That could be a little mistake there from Zach and Chris. Maybe just drawing into playing that draw round there a little bit too early. Maybe they could have kept knocking those guards off. I think this has given Ross a chance to push the blue back and lie in the forefoot or on the button in behind the cover. Zach should maybe have been playing the scoreboard a wee bit more there. Knock a couple more stones out. I think this is just a 6-end game as well, so...
Yeah, I think it is 6 ends, Graham, but is there a bell?
No bells, just 6 ends.
Right.
Or an extra if they need it.
A big opportunity here for Ross to get a good one in.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I just think Zach's maybe just been drawn into that shot a wee bit too early. He could just really have been doing to knock the yellow guards off again and just run Ross and Naomi out of a couple of shots, and then he's probably guaranteed a shot for a 1. Whereas here, he might not be quite so fortunate if Ross can play a good one here.
Yeah, I think he's sweeping this one harder,
Close to
Graham.
the
I
guard,
think he is. But we have to sweep a bit harder than that.
Again, that's a nice little rub there, though. That'll
I
help
think
him.
the main thing there is he hasn't half the guard off totally.
That's right. Yep. Ross and Naomi just not quite found their form tonight yet. They're just struggling a wee bit with the either icing it or finding the right speed. Just don't seem to be quite firing on all cylinders.
I think Ross has missed a couple of draws certainly at important times.
Which is unlike them, but I suppose everybody does get an off day here or there. But we just expect these young ones to be making every shot now, so when you see them miss, it's a little bit of a surprise.
Do we know what the call is here, Graham? I think they're
hit and roll off the yellow.
To try and bump the blue in a bit further.
Yeah, or even just maybe try and get next to it.
Be careful, they don't leave a double here.
Absolutely. But again, this is just where that shot earlier is maybe starting to make things a little bit messy for them. Again, I suppose the good thing here is they're knocking another yellow out. They're trying to just keep the number of yellow stones in the house to a minimum. That way there's not too many chances of a big steal.
Yeah, I think if Zach Stewart manages to score anything in this end, Ross and Naomi will find it very difficult to come back from that in the last end.
Yeah, it's
they're 2 down at the moment, so
it's never easy when you've got a set number of ends and you're chasing it.
No. Well, they've maybe got a wee chance now to maybe try and catch quarter stone of the outside one that's just been played. Try and tap the blue nearer the button to the back of the 8 foot, and the shooter might roll to the top of the 4 foot in behind all the guards.
I heard you were good at maths, Scott. How many of these shots they got left?
I think Rossi's got another 2 stones left. I think he's got this one and one more.
Yep. There, just as you suggested, we firm shot, move the blue back, roll in behind the cover.
Yeah, I think if he's going to be playing this at full strike weight, then he's got less margin for error, certainly. I think he'll want to try and keep as many yellows in the house as he can.
Yeah, a little bit of control of this shot. Again, a lot of discussion going on. I always think that maybe starts to confuse the situation rather than just going and throwing it. They're obviously discussing the scoreboard. 2 ends. This is one more end after this to go. Just discussing how they're going to keep in the game and give themselves a chance, maybe getting that extra end or nicking it.
Well, earlier on, we thought they were maybe discussing what they were having for their dinner tonight, so maybe they're discussing what they're going to have for pudding now. I think they had the starter before they came on, Graham. Well, a decision's been made. Well, I think it's the what I called actually, Graham. Just I think he's going to play a full strike weight though, rather than I think I'd be playing this at barrier weight, try and catch the inside of the top blue, catch a piece of the second one, bump it back to the back of the house, and leave yourself lying two behind the guards. As easy as that. Yeah, and again, that's why I was saying just a quieter weight at the same angle, but at barrier weight, we wouldn't have had the same reaction on the shooter stone.
We would have just that extra speeds rolled. Otherwise, he was sitting top of the button.
Still putting a lot of pressure now, though, on Zach Stewart.
But at this stage of the game, it's the pressure.
I think you'll maybe find that Zach's got another stone after this one, so they've both got another stone each after this one's been played. I did say that Ross had 2 stones left, yes.
So that means
Never mind. There's a bit of tension on the ice. I think there might be a bit of tension up here in the commentary box before too long. Well, this looks like a lovely shot. I don't think they need to be sweeping it. I see Ross is right in there, but yeah, great shot. Great shot.
Still gives the all of that land right on top of it. He's got a chance.
Yeah, dead draw, and it'll be very, very difficult for Zach to score anything in this end.
Yeah, and too risky to play a heavy shot with the other 2 yellows sitting in and around the house. So he may just be forced into giving up the one.
Yeah, I think Ross has to get this shot just right though, because if he doesn't and Zach scores one in this end, at best Ross and Naomi will be getting into the final end 3 down, which in pairs is very difficult to come back from.
See here, it looks a little firm.
I think Ross is trying to sweep on the outside of the stone there to get it to curl a wee bit more. I think if another nice draw to the 4 foot for a score of 2, and we may well see a handshake. Yeah, I think he might get past the guard, Graham, but I don't think he's got the weight to get it there. So if Ross and Naomi can set a similar end up again, but having last stone this time, then might have a chance, and you might get your extra end after all.
Yeah, and it could well be determined by Zach's choice of shot here. Does he decide to throw this through the house, or does he go top four and try and control the end? Go. So he says 3 up, thanks very much.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call at this stage of the game, Graham. I think
Yeah, definitely.
any stones in play is really to the opposition's advantage.
Yeah, definitely. If the score's a wee bit closer, maybe you suggest top four, but with them being 3 up.
I see David here's put a YouTube logo up on the screen there. You can see www.youtube.com/Dumfries Curling.
How many W's was that?
3 W's, Graham. So you can go on to that website and watch this game afterwards. If you haven't managed to see it all, and again you can also subscribe to the Dumfries Curling YouTube site as well. I think Naomi was slightly short with her guard there, Graham, and I think that'll almost signal the end of the game. Yeah, and I think certainly the way that they've played, they'll have every chance of getting to the knockout stages at Stranraer in March.
Ross can have one in the house and then a second mistake. He can have a second stone in. So
Yeah, but obviously after the first 4 stones at the end, the free guard zone is not in play anymore. Hence why you've seen Zach Stewart ask his lead to peel there. A slight mistake that he nosed it.
do you think Ross will throw in here, or is he going to throw another guard
I
up?
think he'll possibly throw a corner guard at the other side of the house, but at 3 down, they're going to have to come in at some point.
It's always interesting to see how the skips and the teams approach it at this.
I think with Naomi's first stone being short, you're almost needing 2 mistakes, and you've got to play the perfect end. Now they've had 1 mistake with a nosed guard, so a miss or a nose here, and they've certainly got an opportunity to get a 3. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think I'd maybe be tempted to come round the one on the left hand side, so round the one that's just been played. It's a bit closer to the rings. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, no, you're probably right there, Graham. That's showing slightly my inexperience.
I thought you were going to say your age
possibly.
there.
But no, that certainly makes a lot of sense what you were playing, and it just shows you never stop learning in this game.
I just can't play the shots. You can see here Zach choosing to throw. He might be actually going for the yellow shot here. That top 12 to be hidden.
Yeah, I think, and I mean that's why I probably would have come round the other guard.
So no stupid after all. A little bit more protection from coming round the tight guard.
Yeah, I think as long as they're making contact with one of them, as he's done, the guard or the one in the house there, nothing. No mistakes now.
Let's see if they go the opposite side this time, and if it gives them a bit more of an advantage.
Yeah, I think they will try and come round this guard now, but this time they really need to be back of the 8 foot or back 12 foot really here to make sure that they're giving themselves enough room to put another one in there.
Yep, Ross doesn't like the line here, I don't think.
No, it certainly looks wide, and I think he's possibly heavy as well, Graham. And that's been the difference. They've just really struggled with their weight this game.
Maybe sweep it and get a wee finish. So neither corner guard have been of any use to the last two draws. They've both been left in the open. And Zach will have a straightforward peel here. He'll be trying to hit the yellow and roll out. Won't be wanting to leave any shots in play for Ross to try and come up against.
Yeah, I think at this stage, as long as the yellow goes, he's going to have an open hit at some point with one of his last two shots.
Yeah. So does that mean he's got two left?
Two left after this one, Graham.
Just checking your maths.
He looks fairly happy with it. He's obviously stuck it there. Now, I think we should really see Ross try and ignore that stone at the moment and try and come round the corner guard still.
Yep, I think you'll be right.
One thing with these young players, Graham, they certainly do get very close to that hog line.
Yeah, I think that that's probably across the board for all curlers when there's club games or about it. But it is part of the rules.
Yeah, we did. If any of you were watching any of the coverage on Sunday, we certainly seen the Marshall rink have one taken off at a crucial time against Lorna Beavers in the Sunday afternoon game. Obviously, at a Scottish Championship, there is umpires there though that are there to take any stones off that are not released in time. And again, when you get to the international competitions now, so whether it be the European Championships or the World Championships, or even we'll see it at the Olympics as well. It has, Graham. Your maths is correct. So what I was going on to finish there before I was rudely interrupted. You'll see at the major competitions nowadays, the stones all have sensors on them, and there's actually lights on the handles, so that if anybody does not release the stone in time, then there's a wee red light flashes, so there can be no confusion whether a stone is hogged or not.
The handle in. So that brings us to the end. The winners at Dumfries High School, sponsored by Hardy Engineering, and the winners Zach Stewart and Chris. And they will now go on to represent Dumfries at Stranraer at the Scottish. If he is interested, we are hosting the World Seniors and Mixed Doubles. You can see the link along the bottom there. Tickets are on sale. We want to try and make it an event to remember, and it's going to be you to come along, get involved, to see what's going on, and potentially take up the sport if you haven't. And I'll thank Scott for and following the game and helping you through it. We hope you.
Thanks, Graham. Thanks, David.